Hello, my name is Marie Smallwood, and I'm the Assistant Director of the Family Career and Professional Development Center. This presentation is going to discuss resume versus CV and figuring out which one do you use. So, what's the difference? A resume typically is just that one-page document. It summarizes everything that you've done during your academic career, meaning from your freshman year to your senior year or as you're in graduate school. It's highlighting all of the skills that you have, any experience that you've had via working on campus or off campus, internships, full-time employment, or if you have any experience, especially leadership experience, from being a part of a student organization or a community group. So the main thing is to make sure that there's a physical document that summarizes how you will be successful in your potential job or how you will stand out amongst other people. Your curriculum vitae, or vitae as some people may call it, covers pretty much everything. Think of it as a catch all. It usually is more than one page. It includes all the things that we mentioned before in a resume, as well as it includes things far as presentations that you've given, any awards, accomplishments, any research topics that you've done research on. It pretty much includes everything within your academic career. So the main differences is just the length and the purpose of why you would have it. Also, a lot of times when you use a CV, its common use is for graduate school admissions. It's because not only are they looking to see how you will be an asset in their academic program, they're also looking to see if there's any graduate assistantships or any scholarships that you may qualify for. There may be a part within that division where you can teach a class, work with one of the professors on their research topics, or just any other various things that they might have within that department that they're wanting to have that CV to see what are you qualified for? What experience are you bringing to the table that they will be able to utilize once you're a part of their program? Also, if there's any type of grants that they're applying for, or if they're trying to publish any documents, being in an article, in a book, anything of that sort, even a blog, they just want to know, like, would you be able to do it from your prior experience to being a part of their program? So they pretty much just want to know everything. So, general guidelines when writing either your CV or your resume is to eliminate first person pronouns. There should be no I, me, or my statements included in that. And it should be the entire document should be consistent, meaning it's visually inviting and appearance is consistent throughout the entire document. So sometimes I've seen some resumes and CVs, and they're using about 4 or 5 different fonts. Like some is bolded, some is italicized, some is in color, underlines, a lot of different things are going on. Remember, this is not a flyer. This is a professional document. So think of like if you're writing a memo, if you're a part of a company, or if you're sending out some important information, this is their important information that they're getting from you that's putting your best foot forward. But keep in mind, if you're part of an industry like marketing or public relations, architecture, sometimes even engineering, it does give you a little bit more leeway on how creative you're able to be on your resume or CV. But I always say err on the side of caution, meaning at the end of the day, you're just wanting to get your content out there and your personality is going to do the talking for you if you meet this person at a conference or a career fair or expo. And so they will be able to see your personality from you speaking with them or even from your LinkedIn profile. So save all of the extra things for those type of occasions or those type of documents and just leave your CV or your resume very easy, inviting, consistent, and easy to read. So this is a slide. I suggest that you, as you watch this, either take out your phone, take a picture of it. If you're watching it on your phone, screenshot this slide, because this is a slide that a lot of people refer to just to pretty much know the difference. So we've already explained a lot of this previous to this slide, but just to reiterate some things, your resume is more of a summary. Your CV is more of the catch-all, be-all, everything that you've done. That does not mean on your resume that you can't have these other topics. As you can see, there's a section where the relevant coursework is optional. Your honors, your activities, your skills, and everything are all optional. So that does not mean you can't have it on your resume. But the rule of thumb is if you're an undergraduate student, your resume should be 1 page. If you're at the graduate level, your resume can be 2 pages, meaning a master's degree. Once you get to your doctoral level, your resume can be as many pages as you need, because most likely at that point, you're already transitioned to only using a CV. So if you have any other questions about this, I just want to put it out there that you can go to our website at famu.edu/career center, and you can make an appointment to meet with one of our career specialists that can go over all of this information in more detail. So when it comes to your education, make sure that you list everything in chronological order, meaning your most recent information will be at the top of the page. That goes for pretty much anything, your education, as well as you'll hear me say it later on when it comes to your experience. They want to see what you've done most recently, what's fresh on your brain, what's fresh as far as your skills, and that's why it goes at the top. Also, make sure that you know your official degree name. So what does the registrar's office have on in the system to what you're earning? Sometimes there's programs that your department may call it one thing, but when they submit it to the registrar's office, when they award your degree, what's going to be on your actual transcript, it may say something different. So we're wanting your resume to make sure those two things match. So include the program name if you have a minor. When is your graduation date? I see a lot of resumes that have when they started their educational experience to present or to current. But the employer is wanting to know, as well as the graduate schools are wanting to know, but when are you available? When are you available to start within their organization or their program? So make sure that you put that expected graduation date. Also, include your GPA. Keep in mind for any of these documents that you're submitting, most likely you're also submitting your transcript. So your GPA will be revealed on your transcript. But like I said, this is a summary of everything you've done. So if your GPA is competitive, make sure that you include it. That means if you're in a program that the GPA required to be a part of the program is a 3.0, if you have a 3.0, first off, congratulations. But that does not mean it's as competitive because everyone in your program is required to have that minimum GPA. So if you're part of a program that requires a 3.0, but you have a 3.75, a 3.8, that is more competitive. But if you're in a program that does not require a higher GPA or like a 3.0 GPA, then it's up to you if you would like to still include that if it is at that 3.0 mark. But I say the minimum GPA that should be listed on your resume is a 3.0. If you've been working on any type of true research project or you have a master's thesis or you've been working on your dissertation, make sure that you also include that information on your resume. This also includes if you participated in any study abroad activities. Make sure that you include that as well. Some people make that as a section of its own, or sometimes people include that study abroad experience as well as the master's thesis or dissertation as a part of the education section of the resume. So, the part that most people have questions on is the experience. Included in here is a part that talks about building your bullet. What that means is that we have a career ready guide that was going to be available to you, and it's also available on our website at famu.edu/career center. And in there, there's a section in there about building the bullet. So how do you explain that experience? A lot of times people just go ahead and copy and paste what was in their job description and they put that into your resume. But does that really explain what you've done within that experience at that current job that you're at or a job that you've previously been at? So a rule of thumb is to always just start those bullets with an action verb, making sure that you've actually done it, like you obtained, you organized, you assisted, you created, any type of action verb. And then identify, what did you actually learn within that position? What did you gain? What did you accomplish? So what did you actually do? They may have put in that job description that your job was to monitor the intake of applications that enter into a database. But depending upon what other task that came up, you may have never had the opportunity to do that actual task. So if you never actually did it, please do not include that on your resume. So what did you actually do? If you're able to include those results with quantitative data, meaning you can use numbers, please include that on there. Any type of results, meaning accomplishments that you've cut down on the amount of complaints or returned items if you're working in retail, anything like that you've accomplished, make sure that you put that in the experience section. Did you win any awards? Make sure that you include that as well. Did you present on your company's behalf at a conference? Or were you recognized throughout a professional organization on the behalf of the work that you've done at that organization or that job that you've worked at? Include all of that information. But keep in mind, this is a summary, meaning they don't have to know everything. They're just wanting to know the highlights. What is going to make you stand out when they read your resume? And that's what you actually include in the experience section. When you've had multiple experiences that you're added onto your resume, think about how many bullets you're using for each one of those experiences, making sure it's not overloaded in one section and not in the other. With that being said, that means that if you have let's say 3 positions, and in one of those positions, you have 3 bullet points that you've put out of what you've done. Another section, you have 10 bullet points of things that you've done. And then another section, you only have 2 bullet points of the things that you've done, that experience within that organization. Even that out. Not saying that you have to have 3 bullet points for each section, but just make sure that it's just a little bit more consistent and clean. Meaning the main thing is that this is a highlight when it's your resume and it's clean and consistent. If you're writing this as a part of a CV, that does not mean that you can have 100 bullet points or 20 bullet points that explain that what you've done. Because remember, with a CV, you can have a little bit more information, but just make sure that it's not little overloaded on one experience and the other, because it will make it seem like the experience that you had that did not have that many bullet points, that you really didn't enjoy that experience. Even if that's how you felt from that position, you don't want to give off that impression. Just make sure that you put enough good, consistent information within the experience section. So we're going to do a small little activity. With this activity, we're just going to go over how would you rewrite this in the experience section of your resume. So take a moment and think about it. The first one, if you have a bullet point that said, answered the phone, how could you reword this? What else could you say? So take a moment and think about that. Pause the video if needed. Well, one way that you can reword the answer the phone could be by saying, answered screen and directed high volume phone calls. See, that's a way of giving them just a little bit more details of what you actually did within that position. So let's try another one. Put data in the system. And yes, you read and heard me correctly. Put data in the system. So how would you reword that? Take a moment and think about that. And like I said before, pause the video if needed. All right. So you can just say, enter complex patient and specimen information for Florida Newborn Screening Program into the laboratory computer system. Keep in mind, you can add new quantitative data in that, and you can say entered 100 complex patient and specimen information within a day time period for the Florida Newborn Screening Program. Just keep in mind, if you do add more information, that you don't have the sentence super long. So think about that. That's a real good activity. Just think about how you have it on your resume to explain that experience. So let's start to talk about skills. Within your skills section, because a lot of people love putting their skills section on their resume and their CV, just make sure that you put those hard skills in the resume or in your CV. A lot of times people list what's called soft skills. Soft skills are those things that really can't be proven. They can be more of an opinion. Think of a hard skill as something that can be proven, meaning you can take a test and say your skill level that you have for it. Something that's hard, that's concrete. You can take a test, you can have a degree in it, you can have a certificate in it. It's quantifiable knowledge, something that can be measured. So let's go ahead and just see the difference between the two. So is this a hard skill or a soft skill? A foreign language. Yes, foreign language is a hard skill. So let's do another one. Problem solving. Is problem solving a hard skill or a soft skill? You're correct. Soft skill. Teamwork. Right again, soft skill. Microsoft Office, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Is this a hard skill or is this a soft skill? Yes, this is a hard skill. Also, if you decide to put on your resume or CV Microsoft Office Suite, please make sure that you know everything that includes. That includes Word, Excel, Access, PowerPoint, all different types of things that's included in that. So if you say just that you know Microsoft Office, make sure that you know all of the things that's included in that. And that goes for other programs as well. Another thing that you can do on your resume or CV is put your level of skill. If you say that you're proficient in something, that means you're an expert at that skill. Make sure that you do have the capabilities. Sometimes within job interviews, once they've reviewed your resume for the graduate position, for graduate school, or for that internship or job, there may be a test associated with your actual interview. So make sure whatever you put on your resume or your CV is actually things that you know how to do and the skill level is correct because they're going to expect you to know this information. So let's do one more. Communication, verbal or written. Yeah, that's a soft skill. I know that you can have a degree in communication, but when it comes to the actual skills section of your resume or CV, most likely it's not for your actual communication major because that communication would have been in the education section. For the typical person that's a non-communication major, this is something that you just make sure that you explain within your actual experience section. So you don't lose adding this information on your CV or resume. It's just added within another section. You're using these particular words that are soft skills to explain what you did, what you've learned as you build that bullet in the experience section. So you know what? Let's go ahead and do one more. CPR. Is this a hard skill or a soft skill? Trick question. It is a certification. Certifications are, yes, they're technically a hard skill, but make sure that anything like this, that you have to be certified and you have to renew your certification, that you list that as a certification and even include if it's still a current certification or not. This can be listed in the skills section of your resume or CV, or it could also be listed in its own section. So this goes for education, for nursing, anything like that that you need certification in order to actually do the job or to be a part of the program. So there's a lot of resources out there that can help you with doing your resume and your CV. One is Optimal Resume. You can find a link for more information about Optimal Resume on our website, which is famu.edu/career center, and it's listed under the student resources section. Optimal Resume is a system that allows you to build your actual resume from start to finish and shows you different types of resumes that you can have based on your experience level, meaning beginning, intermediate, or expert, as well as within different industry clusters. Like, are you going into education? Are you trying to be a nurse? Or are you trying to go into law? So they have different sections that you can choose from. So you can see examples of resumes of how you can format it. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and talk about formatting real quick, since I did not talk about that at the beginning. When it comes to formatting your resume, a good thing about Optimal Resume, it has different options on there for you. Meaning, we prefer that you put your education first, meaning at the very top of your resume, followed by like your experience, your skills, your leadership, all of that following that education of the resume. But we've noticed when you use different templates in Word, They have some in Google Docs, in Canva, or in different programs. They have it formatted in a different way. Yes, if you do those templates, it will look appealing and people will still accept those resumes and CVs. But a lot of times, those documents are not in the most updated format of what employers in graduate schools are looking for. So, we suggest that you use platforms like Optimal Resume that has different examples and samples that you can use and not necessarily a template. Also, the information they have in these type of programs that we provide are things that you can actually edit. I know all of us have done a template for a resume or a document, and you try to move something on the document and other things just totally disappear. When using systems like Optimal Resume, and there's other resources available on our website, these do not do that option. You're actually able to download these documents and work with them as if you created it from scratch. Another tool that you can use is called ONET Online. ONET Online is a tool that a lot of employers or schools use in order to see what skills and education that the students need in order to do that job or that career type. So if you go into ONET Online, you're able to find what skills are they actually looking for. So you can make sure that you either gain those skills or include those skills on your resume. So my favorite site to use is called jobhero.com. When you go to jobhero.com, we only utilize the search function of jobhero.com. And what you can do from there, you can find examples of how different people explain how they did their experience within on their resume. So let's do that right now. Let's go to jobhero.com and we're actually going to look up a job. As you can see right here, this is jobhero.com. As I mentioned before, we're only using this section right here of the website just to search how you explain a job. So we're going to think of a different job position. Keep in mind that different jobs have the same type of duties, but they may call it a different title. So let's go ahead and think of something easy. So cashier. As you can see, there's different type of cashiers that you can choose from, but we're gonna do, let's say, fast food cashier. So as you can see from this is pulling from the internet different resumes that has fast food cashier on it. It includes how many months or how long they've been at that in the workforce, how long they've been at this job, any type of experience that they have. And it includes what they've used on the resume. Please do not plagiarize. We're only using this as an example. So you see, sometimes they have a lot of information, sometimes that they don't have that much. But like I said, you're just using this to help you explain what you've did in that position. So let's try one more. Let's see. We can do front desk assistant, or sometimes they call them administrative assistants. So let's see how they explain this. Same as I said before, they will give you information about the person that wrote this and how they explain what they did within that position. You see how everyone started with an action verb? Make sure that you do that. You process, you assisted, you strengthen. Another rule of thumb is if you're currently in the position, everything written in that section as you explain your experience would be in present tense. If you've already completed that position or that job, that section would be in past tense. So keep that in mind. Present tense for things that you're currently doing, past tense for things that you've already finished working, meaning you've already completed that job assignment. So If you have any questions regarding your resume or your CV, please make sure that you reach out to us. Our email is careercenter@famu.edu, or you can find a lot of information on our website at famu.edu/careercenter. Once again, my name is Marie Smollett. I'm the Assistant Director for the FAMU Career and Professional Development Center, and it's been my pleasure to assist you with this topic on today. Thank you.